gardening friends, this is Aubrey. It's Crybaby Sonoma Homestead, and today we're going to pick up seeds and bulbs that I ordered back on August 1st. It's a native plant sale. I got 3 seed packets and 2 sets of bulbs. And the varieties I got were showy fleabane, mule's ear, rose checker mellow, great camas, and taper tip onions. Let's go pick those up. I already paid for them. Can't forget to go pick up your pre-sale items. That would really be a bummer. What a waste, right? Let's go grab them, and then I'll tell you why I got each of these 5 varieties. Wow, I'm so glad I put in that order, if only to discover that there was a little festival going on. I didn't even know. So in the backdrop of where I picked up the seeds and bulbs, there was a church and a grange and a really ripe apple tree. You could smell it in the air. It was amazing. Kids were pressing cider and straining it, learning about soil. And I actually came across this one of the stands actually had free seed packets that were homemade. Let me show you what I got. I got a free packet of some echinacea coneflower, and I got 2 more packets that were handmade with like magazines, and I will link in the description and in the comments my video of how I made seed packets using seed catalogs. And this one here is goldenrod, and I got 1 more freebie, which was western columbine. So that was pretty neat, on top of the ones I already purchased. I love how they packaged the bulbs. They actually used the little lunch bags and they punched holes in them so that the bulbs can breathe. That's really genius. And then they tied it with a little bit of twine. And this is a great way to store bulbs so that they don't get all nasty and rotten. So that's a really smart idea. When I make basically like instant pots where like I'll line a cup with a coffee filter or a little baggie, I do punch holes in those so that the roots can get out really neatly. So this is a great idea, and that's how they did both of them, the onions as well as the camas. Really cool. And my seed packets. Got the seed packets here too, and they're so cute. I like how they're packaged. They have little cute, there's information on here on both sides. Very cool. And I'm going to look up some more information. I know that when I purchased the seeds and the bulbs, I did like a whole night of just searching up information, and I'm going to have to look it up again because I've already forgotten why I got them. But I'm trying to find things that I don't already have in my garden, and it's getting harder and harder because I have so much growing. So there's the rose checker mallow, the showy fleabane, and the mule's ears. The back of the packaging doesn't include the information, but I like the packets. So the packet actually has a place to check off whether it's annual or perennial, whether it's a grass or etc., planting season, spring or fall sow, direct or container start, and so forth. So I like that idea. I think I want to include something like this, maybe some different information. I like the idea of it being like a checkoff. So I did buy a stamp off of Etsy that I can stamp on the front of a seed packet and then fill it in. And I might pre-print some information that you just check it off on the back of it. I think that's a really good idea. What do you think? Anyway, I love them. And when we get home, we'll talk more about what they're for and why I got them. So while I was walking around and talking to people, I came across another little stand, and they were talking about the Farmland Trust. And this represents Grays Harbor, Lewis, Mason, and Thurston counties. And the whole idea is trying to preserve more farmlands. Some of the development has kind of chipped away at farmlands so that it's just shy of 20 acres. And then in that way, it prevents people from getting the kinds of tax breaks and other perks that go along with being considered a farmland. So if you consider what a farmland looks like, you might have a lot of empty space with just grass, and then you have a smaller area that's actually being farmed. And so smaller plots of land should, in my personal opinion, you can pop a comment below, but I feel that smaller plots of land, if they're being farmed, should qualify for that farm status. Anyway, so they did show me there's all kinds of information in the guide. This is a free guide, and like I was interested in buying like a piece, like a big, like a quarter of a beef. And there's a whole page in here on farms that provide that. So you might look into getting a copy of this guide, and it's communityfarmlandtrust.org if you want more information. And if you live in a different area, you can look into farmland trusts near you, and also look into conservation districts. So every county usually has like a conservation district, and they might be native plant cells, so that the plants that you're getting are native to your area. That's great. I don't just plant native plants. I plant a lot of native plants, but I also consider my garden my escape. And so I don't go on a lot of vacations. Like, I haven't left Washington in a couple years. And I mean, I think we went to Oregon. So like, I'm not going to Paris and Rome and all those great, wonderful things that everyone talks about. And, you know, people are going to like the Caribbean. That's not me. But I basically will plant the things that I would have seen there in my yard, and then, or in my house, if it's a house plant, you know, it's tropical stuff. And then I feel like I've gone on a vacation. So I bring those places to me. Like if I went to Europe, I would be looking at the plants. I mean, that's just who I am. You know, if you watch my channel for a while, you know that that's who I am. So if I was, you know, there, I'd be interested in the plant life. And if I'm not going to go on an airplane and stay in a hotel and pay for all of that, I can pay for the seeds, and I can plant those things in my property. I'm very careful to make sure I don't cause anything to become invasive or whatever. I like to plant things that are pervasive and grow well on their own, but I also am very careful that I don't cause any problems with our local ecosystems either. And I think these resources, the two resources I'm mentioning to you, are the conservation districts and your community farmland trusts. So look at those and let me know if you find more information about yours. Also, I'm enjoying a honey cinnamon latte. Never had that before. From a nice little coffee stand. I'll put their information there. And I purchased, sounds like goodies, doesn't it? I purchased a pumpkin scone, a piece of pumpkin bread, and what was it? It's not scone. Some other kind of goodie that has blueberries. Anyway, so I will have to share them with my family because I can't save it all for myself, and that's a lot of carbs. But I'm looking forward to it. I was listening to some of the music. It was all country, like old stuff, and I just was really enjoying it. I wanted to actually videotape it, but I thought it might be like a copyright infringement, and I'm not sure if the people will be okay with it, so I didn't. Also, there's like a lot of little kids, and even though I do the videos at the fairs and stuff, I'm really careful not to catch kids' faces and stuff on camera. And it was a really small event, so I don't think I could avoid it. But it was a lot of fun. It was fortuitous, kind of a little bit of serendipity that I came here to pick up my seeds and bulbs, and it ended up being a really cool little experience. So let's go home and let's talk about the flea bane and a bunch of other things that we got.